Hello everybody, welcome to WhatCulture Gaming. I'm Scott, joined by Josh.
Hello.
Josh, my friend, the last week, or the last few days have been a bit of a roller coaster. At times a bit of a warp anyway, but the last 48 hours-ish, we went from, oh my god, the entire plot of Last of Us 2 has leaked and people were freaking out about it on Twitter, to then a follow-up from Sony, who have now said that, I don't know if it's in direct response to that, I'm going to assume that it is, Last of Us 2 is no longer indefinitely delayed and is actually now coming on June 19th, which is only like 6 weeks or something away?
8 weeks, I think, by my count, maybe 7.5, very soon, and only a couple of weeks after its initial date, which was May 29th, something like that. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you mentioned it's been a roller coaster ride, Scott. I would go one step further and say it's been a roller coaster ride where the seats are made out of knives and spikes and pointy things that dig into you, because it's been difficult, which I'm sure we will get into.
We will.
Yeah,
So
it's cool to. It's obviously like cool that it's finally got an actual release date, because we had no idea whether it would even come out this year, considering everything that's going on.
I was going to quickly mention as well, because we're going to talk way more about Last of Us 2, I think, but Ghost of Tsushima is now coming July 17th, so it's pushed back by a month from what it was initially penciled in as a June release. So yeah, you got Last of Us 2 June 19th, and then a month later, Ghost of Tsushima on July 17th. But yeah, let's talk about the Last of Us 2 stuff, because you were saying that it's kind of affected your general sort of anticipation and stuff. You're a little bit weary or a little bit put off by it at the minute.
Yeah, it's like, since it's all happened, it's almost like there's a kind of dark cloud surrounding the game. Like, I was looking through the comments on a video that we did yesterday, and I caught a fragment of spoiler, and I was just like, well, there's my life ruined.
Oh no!
there's my day gone. And it's just kind of like everything that's coming out. And it's not only the fact that, there are so many spoilers out there, but why the person allegedly leaked the spoilers in the first place, because of, the intense crunch culture at Naughty Dog, the response people have been having to the leaks, the disappointment felt by the studio and fans. It's just kind of, it's not the fact that, there are spoilers out there, because the things get spoiled all the time. It's kind of like the general negativity associated with that's kind of like spun off from it. That's just, it's a real bummer. I've been going through this kind of existential dread for the past day or so, where I'm just kind of like, oh, this just encourages kind of those spiteful people in, comment sections to kind of drop a spoiler in there and kind of like hit and run you with it. It's like, that's not good discourse. That's not cool fan mentality. Like, especially in, sorry, I keep cutting you off, but like, especially in, like isolation that we're in now, there are a few things to look forward to, like few concrete things. So then to have something as big as this kind of be battered away at touches, it just sucks a bit, doesn't it?
No. Okay. There's just two things, something to look forward to. One, Telling Lies is out today, Sam Barlow's new game on console. Don't worry about it. It's
well, that's something.
A bit of the old FMV, bit of the old Logan Marshall Green up in your face. Gears Tactics, though, only on PC, ridiculous. But in terms of this thing, I'm the complete opposite for you. I was in the same, like, oh my god, it feels like there's all this weird negative energy surrounding it. Can they even release Last of Us 2 considering the ongoing shenanigans worldwide, and will it even feel right to play this down and out themed around hate zombie game? And then it was the whole leak thing, and then we could talk about the whole conversation around, when is it okay to leak stuff, and that idea of this one person who was disgruntled apparently about pay, and then decided to leak the entire game's story on YouTube, as like this sort of way of getting back at Naughty Dog's top brass or whatever, thereby burying the entire team of creatives in 6 years worth of hard work, as far as I'm concerned anyway. But when Sony then responded and said, oh god, okay, because of this, in light of this, we're pushing it up to June 19th. I've only got joy. I just rejoiced. I did this vague maneuver, and I just stayed here for a bit. So I'm pretty glad that it's coming out. I'm obviously like happy that it's coming out, but I mean, I'm only in a positive mindset in regards to it. I do think that there are so many, like you said, like just sort of black cloud, the miasma around The Last of Us 2 is just in a weird state, but I'm glad it's coming out. I love Neil Druckmann, I love Naughty Dog. I'm trying to just think of the purity of that creative team finally having their work pay off, because it's been in development for 6 years at this point.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're totally right. Like, that is the rational thing to do. That's the rational response. But unfortunately, it's sort of like an irrational person. I was almost going to say unrational, which is it's not a word. It's not a thing. I wish I was with you, man. Like, I obviously love that it's coming. I'm still excited for it. Mm-hmm. But for me, I don't know. I feel tainted by everything that's gone on. You know, I was already feeling a bit funky a few weeks ago when the big report came about. You know, Naughty Dog's practices in general. That got me thinking about, you know, the conditions of The Last of Us already, and then this has kind of snowballed into something else. There was obviously like 2 months between now and release, so a lot of this might be able to be patched up. But yeah, like I want to support like the team working on it. Like, say what you will about the upper echelons of Naughty Dog that are implementing a lot of this crunch culture and stuff. For me, I just can't stop thinking about like the people who've been working on this game, like you said, for 6 years, kind of at the bottom level, suffering through all of this crunch, and then having to see all the work that they've been working on kind of like out there, and people are kind of, you know, purposefully spoiling it and stuff. And it's like, that must suck for them, because they've had the worst of both worlds now. They don't get to look forward to that launch as much as they could have before.
In terms of just spoiler culture in general, and having covered like Star Wars, Game of Thrones, MCU, you know, like I said, the Harry Potter thing before, I've kind of developed my own, and I think this is just the best thing that people can do, is develop your own personal philosophy on spoilers and how much you are going to take them and run with them, because I have a whole thing about suspension of disbelief and sort of like where the authority lies on media. So for me, it's like, it's only going to matter when I see the final product. I only care what Naughty Dog have to say. I only care what's on the screen coming from The Last of Us 2. So for me, it's like, even if someone, you know, posts something down in some comment section, I stumble upon something on social media, I do not know. I always take it as false anyway. Like, they're not the authority on it. They could have just made it up. I could make something up right now about GTA 6 and it wouldn't matter. And just because someone saw it and it sounds believable doesn't mean that it is. And so my personal thing with all of this stuff is always just that I'll wait regardless. Now obviously don't send me spoilers, but at the same time, you in the comments. But at the same time, I tend to always fall back on that. I think that is just something I've built up from years and years and years. Because, I mean, I remember going to see Star Wars Force Awakens and someone telling me that Han Solo was Kylo's dad, and then watching it in the midnight screening going like, oh, but I knew that. But I didn't. I never knew that, because it was just some random person saying it. I didn't know anything. I don't know it until it's on screen from the authority. But I don't know if that even helps you whatsoever.
I'm the exact opposite. It's horrible, Scott. It's a horrible existence, because for me, I don't even necessarily, I don't hope, but I wonder if there's anyone else out there like me, because sometimes it doesn't even need to be a spoiler. Like the thing I saw, like I said, was like a fragment of a spoiler, but then I've kind of put it together in my mind, and then I've like canonized it in my brain, what I thought I saw. So then I'm expecting not even a spoiler, but what I think is a spoiler to happen in the actual thing, which is the absolute madness of it. And I don't know why it's necessarily hit so hard with The Last of Us Part 2, because like you said, we've been covering this stuff for a long time now. We've been covering The Last of Us, we've been covering MCU, we've been covering all of these big brands that I really like and I'm really invested in and have seen spoilers for before, or have had spoilers revealed before. Yet this one has particularly stung. And I don't know why. I don't know whether that's because of everything around it or because of the situation that's currently happening. Like, we were all kind of really looking forward to it during this period of uncertainty. I do not know. But it does feel like I've had the wind knocked out of my sails a little bit, and I sympathise with anyone kind of in that same position, because it does kind of suck. And even if you realise that, you know, it's not just about the thing that's being spoiled. A story isn't just a collection of moments that can be ruined, and therefore the story is bad or redundant or not worth pursuing. It's how those moments play out in the actual game. It's the context of them. It's the way they're told, not just what they are. But I must admit, it's hard to it's not hard to rationalize it, but it's hard to kind of believe that, because spoiler culture is so entrenched in, you know, fandoms and what we do, and we put such a premium on specific moments, more so than we do how those moments are portrayed or displayed or, you know, contextualized within a wider thing.
No, yeah, 100%, and I totally sympathise. Like I said, I was exactly where you were back in 2015, and everything someone told me, I was like, oh well, that's what that plot point is, or that's what that plot point is, and I was just kind of going with it. And it is just something. It's probably just sheer spoiler desensitization over time, where I've just kind of been like, well, you're getting bombarded with so much stuff that I kind of can't run with all of it, and I just know, I feel like I'm the man with the tinfoil hat on and my little blanket, just feeling like, it's fine, everything's fine. If I just don't, you know, believe believe what I want to believe and everything's fine. And that seems to be one of the only ways I've found to sort of, work in amongst so many bits of information and leaks and rumors and everything else and not feel like everything is being quote unquote ruined. Because for me, it's always going to be what the final product is. And like you said, in terms of storytelling and everything, even if someone told me some big stupid spoiler about The Last of Us 2, again, do not do that. I'm not going to, in the final product, I'm still going to be like, okay, so this is how this is coming together. I'm still appreciating the storytelling or the construction of it or the, narrative delivery. There's so much more to it than just the base plot beat of this thing happened.
Yeah,
but I said, all of that is just a defense mechanism, really.
Yeah, and I mean, you're totally right as well, and I think it might sound a bit hypocritical considering we cover leaks all the time, but I think the difference is the leaks we cover are never really confirmed, might not eventually happen. They're often for games that are unannounced in years in the future. They're never sort of, specific moments from games people are looking forward to that we know are definitely going to happen.
Oh, we're never one of those sites that has a death in the thumbnail or literally runs with the headline being like, well, we couldn't believe this person died, and it's we'll always try and get around that stuff because that stuff just sucks.
That's it. I do think that it's probably a wider conversation for maybe a podcast or something, but a delineation between kind of revealing what we perceive as harmless details compared to, dropping the bombshell on a big story reveal, a couple months away from launch when a game's already announced and stuff. It's a big topic to kind of pick apart. So I would say I'm interested in hearing what people are, how people are responding to it in the comments, but I'm not going to check the comments. I'm not going to check the comments ever again. So that's good.
I know what you mean. The comment sections in general have been some of the worst. The Thanos of trying to follow any particular nerddom. They're just sort of cropping up, never dying, coming back from multiple sources and forever getting in the way. But yeah, let us know what you think down in the comments below of the new release dates for these games. Are you still psyched for Last of Us 2 given everything else that's happening? And what do you think of Ghost of Tsushima as well? For now, I've been Scott from WhatCulture.com.
I've been Josh from WhatCulture.com.
I'll catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.